Ladies and gentlemen, and fight fans around the world, this is All Access MMA.
My next guest is coming off a huge win, a round 3 guillotine choke over Luis Pena, and of course it is Khama Worthy. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate the time, and wow, what a performance, what a win over a tough fella there in Luis Pena. Tell me, looking back at it now, I think your popularity has risen quite a bit. How has your life changed since then?
Popularity-wise, I gained about, a couple thousand people on Instagram. But my life, it's same stuff. I take the wins for a little bit. I enjoy them for about a week, and then I try to get back, resettle myself, and get back to normal life. And now I'm back at training, coaching. One of my teammates just might be having a big fight coming up, so I'm hoping him. One of my training partners, Nick Brown, he has a big fight coming up for LFA, so I'm trying to get some working with him, help him get ready and stuff. So it's just back to regular life.
When is that fight for LFA? I just finished interviewing Chris Brown. He's actually fighting this Friday.
I think it's in it's the last week of the month, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last week of the month, because the LFA's they're doing 3 shows this month, right? I think he's on the last one. I think he's a co-main event I think the lightweight belt is on the line, and then he's like the co-main event, and he should be fighting for the belt after that, or fighting the UFC. I'd say skip the belt, go straight to the UFC.
It sure is nice to see other promotions getting back to normal, following in suit of what the UFC has done. Tell me, as far as this Pena fight goes, what was your game plan heading into this one, and did the result end out the way that you thought it would?
Yeah, actually, it did. That's exactly. That was one of the ways I saw myself winning, just because it's the way I saw that he would shoot in on people. Usually in his fights, people would try to wrestle him, so when he would get tired, that would give him the advantage, but I was trying to punch him, so it forces him to shoot, and he's just a little tall. And I figured I could get him off with that, but he kept pushing into it, so he gave me the choke.
How did fighting in front of no fans there at the Apex and the smaller cage, how did that affect you, good or bad, in the fight?
It didn't really affect me. I didn't really like it. It's not something I prefer. I prefer fans, but it didn't really affect me. Like, once the fight started, the fight was going. I could hear my cornerman. Unfortunately, your opponent can hear your cornerman too. So your cornerman saying stuff and your opponents responded to that stuff. His cornerman was calling out stuff for him to do, and I did it when they called it out. So it's like the no noise is kind of weird, but it doesn't really affect me. It's just I have to play a different game.
Did you get a chance to talk to Luis after the fight? What did he have to say?
Oh, yeah, man. He was super cool, man. He was super respectful. He was super cool, man. We talked, yeah, maybe we'll run it down. We'll run it back somewhere down the line. I made a joke. I was like, you're young as hell, man. I'm like, by the time we get around like 4 or 5 years, my ass will be retired, because I'm fucking 34 and you're 27. He started laughing and stuff. So he was a super cool guy leading up to the fight, and he was super cool afterwards and stuff. So I wish him nothing but the best.
It's funny, both you and Pena have 2 of the best nicknames in all of MMA. Obviously, yours is the Deathstar. His is Violent Bob Ross. Tell me, for anyone that doesn't know, including myself, I actually don't know the backstory on your nickname. How did you get it?
It's really not really a crazy or anything special. It's just my first amateur fight. I knocked this guy out really bad, and he just disappeared. And someone said, look, like he got hit by something by the Death Star, and it just kind of rung on, and it just kind of grew from there and just became permanent.
Yeah, well, it is a very good nickname. It's one that really stands out and grabs your attention. You were actually nominated for the biggest upset of the year for the World MMA Awards. I got to admit, man, it feels like people are sleeping on you. Does that just give you more motivation here moving forward?
Yeah, I don't think they're sleeping anymore. I have 2 fights in the UFC. Both fights were on a prelim main event. I was an underdog for both times against young, up-and-coming prospect, and I finished them both, one by knockout and one by submission. So I don't really think – there might be. Maybe there are, but I don't think anyone's going to be sleeping me anymore. But it's a fight. I don't sleep anyone when it comes to fighting, because anything can happen. Literally, especially in MMA, it's just too many weapons, too much danger. Anything can happen. So I don't sleep anyone. So, I guess I don't know. I think now people catch on and like it'll be kind of like, all right, so that wasn't a mistake. Like he's serious and he's here, so catch on.
No doubt. I mean, you're on a 7-fight win streak. You're undefeated inside the octagon now. I'm not sleeping on you. I'm sure many of the hardcores as well know exactly who you are. Tell me, how did you celebrate afterwards? Did you have the ability to do anything, or did you just basically stay quarantined in your room in the hotel?
No, yeah, I went straight back to my hotel, and we went to our room. And my manager, Jason House, he had a big house out there where like he was staying at, because he had like fighters every week and stuff. And he's getting tested he had an Airbnb, and he's getting tested every freaking 3 days, whatever. So we went over to his house for a little bit afterwards. Like other fighters and their cornermen were there. We hung out for a little bit, then we just went home. I very seldom like do a lot after my fights. I'm exhausted. Like, they're just so tired after fights. Like, yeah, I mean, I probably went out and partied like once after a fight. Like, I normally just go home, like go out, maybe get a couple of drinks with people and stuff, kick it for a little bit, then just go home.
Did you watch the remainder of the card and that unbelievable main event fight?
Yeah, I did. I did get to catch a lot of other fights. I think I watched the co-main event and the main event. By the time I got back to my hotel, we were watching it and stuff, and then I got home and like rewatched them again. So yeah, those were some brutal fights they were doing.
Yeah, would you say that Hooker Poirier is the fight of the year so far, in your opinion, or is there another one or two that stands out?
Yeah, I would say, me personally, she can come in. Me personally, I like the Paul Felder versus Hooker fight better. And the Joanna Jacek fight was, for me, that was fight of the year. That's probably like almost fight of the decade. And then there was another one, a really crazy fight. Oh, which fight was it? It was really recent. But I mean, there's so many fights. Like, there's so many fights, and people are like, oh, it's fighting. I'm like, that's just the fight you. I mean, there's so many fights that you have to catch up on. Like, where they go all 3 rounds, and it's like, oh my God, someone almost died in that fight, and it was like a really fun fight. So, but yeah, I mean, that fight was good. I can't really put anyone in front of Joanna, Jacek and Young Jim. That was an awesome fight.
Yeah, I think the other fight you were thinking of might be Josh Emmett and Burgos.
Yeah, exactly. They just literally just beat each other to death. And that was like a week before. Like, they just beat each other to death for like the whole fight. And they were like dropping bombs on each other. I mean, like, so and that's what I'm saying. You'll have one of those every freaking card. I mean, like, even the Jose Aldo fight was from, I mean, that fight was unreal. That Jose Aldo fight that just happened this past weekend. They were exchanging in the pocket for damn near the entire fight. So, I mean, there's so many fights. So I would hate to have to pick fight of the year for this one. I mean, every year, I guess.
Yeah, it would be a difficult thing to do, that's for sure. Tell me, how have things been for you? Obviously, you're a gym owner, in Pittsburgh, the Academy. What has that been like for you throughout the pandemic, and how are things going as far as, your members that are there in and out every day?
Well, yeah, I mean, we actually just did our official re-grand opening this past Saturday and stuff, and a lot of people here and stuff, and we just get back to like full-time training and stuff. So I mean, we're getting a lot more people. The pandemic definitely hurts you as a gym owner, because a lot of people, like, I had to like let people cancel their memberships and stuff if they wanted to cancel. Thank you, Mama. It's my daughter. She's like bringing me coins. But yeah, like it's been doable. We can deal with it, but it's the fight definitely helps to like get a lot of new members and stuff. But like, I mean, like I'm not really complaining. Watch stepping over that. I'm not really complaining, but it is what it is. Like, a lot of people are also dealing with that. There we go. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's just something you have to deal with, process, and go from there.
Did it affect your ability to spar and do the things that you normally do in camp?
No, because I own my own gym, and I was just bringing in a certain amount of guys. Like, I had like 3 guys I would bring in. And then by the time like this fight started to happen, people kind of had gotten back to like doing things and got back to moving and stuff like that. So I was able to get a decent amount of guys that were coming up and still working.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Khama, you're on a 7-fight win streak. Your record is 16-6 now. Tell me, is there something you can point towards as to a turnaround in your MMA game that's really taking you to the next level, or is this just a thing where you've slowly evolved over time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm still the same fighter I've always been, just slightly bigger because I'm at 55 now. It's, like, that's the biggest thing. My last 2 losses, I would put mostly on me just cutting too much weight. I was just cutting too much weight to make 145. I was dying to make weight. But yeah, I mean, like, really, it's just taking as it comes, and I just had to deal with it that way.
Now, you've mentioned a couple of names of who you may want next. First, before we get into that, tell me a time frame. I mean, I think you'd like to have a full camp, right? You haven't had a full camp in a while now. Is that something you want to kind of take a step back and actually get a full camp in before we see you next inside the octagon?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to fight like late August, September. Hopefully we have something maybe in the works for September. So my manager hit me up right after my fight and asked me, and I said yeah to it. So hopefully that all works out and we'll get a fight in September lined up.
Do you feel like the MMA fans are going to see an even more dangerous Khama Worthy if you have a full camp?
Yeah, I mean, like, to a certain degree. I mean, like, I think I was completely dangerous in that fight. I mean, like, you got to see things and see holes and everything, but also see a glimpse of what I can do. I mean, fighters make fights, basically, so it all depends on the type of person that I fight. Luis Pena was actually he's a good fighter. He has a not really high fight IQ, especially grappling. So I wasn't really worried. I didn't really try to stop him from taking my back too much, because if you watch all his fights, he gets to everyone's back at some point in time. So I wanted to kind of let him get there and let him attack stuff and see how confident he felt, and then like switch it up. So no, I mean, like, I think I always try to change in every fight camp. I'm always changing. I'm always evolving. So that's kind of like how I've been my entire career. So yeah, you'll see a completely different come on within the next 2 months of fighting.
You've mentioned some names previously. A guy that I really think would make a lot of sense for you and make for a very awesome stylistic fight is Yancy Medores. Who makes sense? Who would you like to step in with next?
Like I said, like with him, like I always said, there's no disrespect at all. I just always liked him. I've always been a big fan of his, and he's a veteran. He's been fighting in the UFC for a long time. He's a smart fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's not like in the top 15. So he's like, what the fuck would he want to fight with me for? You know what I mean? But there's a couple other guys. I definitely still want to fight Azaitar Ottman. Like, that's the fight that I had planned. I did a full camp for and didn't get to use. So I would like to do that again. I think they said Steamroller Provolo said he wanted to fight me or some shit. I was like, all right, you get in fucking line. I mean, I think even Brock Waver, who I wanted to fight a long time ago, I think someone said that he said he wanted to fight me, but he's 1-1 in the UFC, but his only win was by disqualification, and then he got choked out. So the juice really isn't really there anymore. I'm trying to fight people that have juice, like Ottman's undefeated, like or a veteran. You know what I mean? Someone that's been in the UFC for a while that can put me in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, there's some other undefeated guys in the UFC too that are looking at 155 and stuff. So
last question for me. What is your ceiling here at 155 in the UFC? What is it that you want to accomplish before you say, okay, I'm done, I'm going to go retire now and be a family man, which is, clearly what you really seems to value the most?
I want to make Bugatti money. I don't really care about like other stuff. I mean, like I'm trying to make. I mean, I've already achieved my goals as a martial artist. Like, that's the thing. Like, belts and stuff like that won't really. I mean, it'd be cool because I'd be making more money because then technically in the UFC that's not always true. So I'm just here to make money because I've been literally busting my ass off. If you know the life of a professional mixed martial artist is, you bust your ass off and get damn near nothing in return. That, in fact, it costs you. For your amateur career, fights do nothing but cost you. As a pro, I mean, my last fight before I made it to UFC, I made $1,200 or I made $1,100 and $1,100. Like, the fight camp cost me $1,500 just to begin with, for missing work, taking time off, saying no to privates and stuff. So now it's just collecting for all those times I've been messing up. So All I want is fun fights and lots of money in that order. Like everything else will just happen.
Well, that makes sense. You're clearly a lot of fun to watch compete inside the octagon. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Before I let you go, if there's anyone you'd like to thank or any social media you want to plug, the floor is yours.
I thank, of course, all of my coaches and training partners here at the academy, all the rest of the guys here from out of Pittsburgh, my family and all of my students and stuff. You can follow me on Instagram at the Deathstar _1. There's another person, the Deathstar _11. Yo, fuck you. put that out real quick. So don't follow that person. Send them a picture of your butthole or something. Fuck them. But yeah, you can follow me there, and my same thing on Twitter. Don't hit me up on Facebook because I can't accept no more friend requests, and I'm tired of saying that. So just hit me up and follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I love to interact with my fans. As long as you don't hit me up with no crazy shit, I'll interact with you. Don't ask me no crazy dumb questions. You know the answer to. But like I said, I answer pretty much every message except for the ones where people are asking me about who to bet. How the fuck am I supposed to know who to bet for? I got like 18 messages. People are like, so yo, who should I bet on this weekend, man? I don't know. Like that's not what I do. I don't look at it and bet and like so. Besides that, I'll hit you up. I'll even answer those and just give you a question mark. Like I'm not too sure, dude. But anyone else, hit me up, follow me. Like I said, if you're in Pittsburgh area and you want to train at one of Pittsburgh's best facilities, come on through, train with your boy, me and my coaches, and take it from there.
I really appreciate the time, and I look forward to speaking again soon.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on.